Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And today, it is episode 420.
Smoke weed every day, wake up. Smoke weed every day, wake up.
We made it. Actually, I wanted to see how long it's been. Every once in a while, I go like, how often are we uploading? It's actually been like 840 days since we first started. It's like 845 or something like that. So we're pretty much doing a video every other day, and that's not even including some other content I still post out. So I'm proud of myself. Let's keep on continuing. Let's keep on charging along. Today, I have two topics. One is not really going to be that long, so I'm going to start off with this. So I was listening to John Middlecoff's podcast. I would listen to him. He's an ex-scout for the Eagles, but he's not like a pro. He's not a pro scout. It's not like he knows everything about football. He's basically just had a minimum job, like a $23,000 or $30,000 job, and he wanted to move up the ranks. He worked under Andy Reid, and he has a lot of connections, which is what I like. You know, it kind of feels like I'm listening to the common folk a little bit here. So basically, he came out and started talking about the San Francisco's draft because he's pretty cool with he lives in San Francisco, and he's like, when San Francisco drafted Solomon Thomas, he was known as a high floor guy, right? He's like, he's not going to be awful. See how he busted? I wanted the Giants to get him, but see how he busted? Now he's on the Raiders, if you didn't know. When they're going after Mike McGlinchey, he was a high floor guy. They're like, he's not going to be awful, but he's not going to be great. Now look at him now. Are they going to get rid of him now? It's not going to be like, it's kind of like a waste of contract. But when they did go for it all, things have worked. They went after Trent Williams. That worked. Fred Warner. That worked. They did go after Dee Ford. Yeah, they went after Dee Ford. They went after a bunch of players, and it's either boom or bust. And that feels like that was kind of the right strategy for them. And now at quarterback, it's really telling for the 49ers because Jimmy Garoppolo felt a little bit safe. Now, are they going to go Mac Jones? A guy feels like he has a high floor, or after Justin Fields, who feels like he has a pretty high ceiling. That's going to determine, is he going to do a pure pocket guy or a guy that can move around, based on the division, the different players, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, whatever. Basically, one that determines his career and that importance, but also determines high floor. The Bears drafted Mitch Trubisky because they thought he had a high floor. And that I think we can apply to the New York Giants based on who falls down to us. Who has the higher ceiling? Who can be great? Now, if you take a look at the guys that can fall down to us, I made a video, top 11 picks I want at 11. Maybe I'll adjust it a little bit now. High floor, Micah Parsons. I don't care about the discipline. He has a high floor. Look at his athleticism. If he could develop those, elite traits as far as, not like athleticism, but as far as knowing how to defend the run, developing some more pass rush moves for certain situations, learning the game of football a little bit more as he, reunites with Coach Chaos, that could work. Jalen Waddle. Take a look at him. He had the ankle injury, but he was the Heisman favorite. He was probably going to win the Heisman Award if he didn't get injured. If you think about it, looking back on it now, maybe not. I don't know, because it was pretty close between the top guys with Mac Jones, whatever. But you take a look at Elijah Vera Tucker. That's a high floor guy. That he was number 2 on my list. He feels like he's high floor. Rashawn Slater, I don't know. I don't know what to make of him. I don't know whether he's like a high ceiling guy. What do you guys think? Do you think Rashawn Slater's a high ceiling, high floor guy? Take a look at Kwity Paye. That feels like the same as Rashawn Slater. He's just a solid player. And Jason Oweh, he is a high ceiling player, but he's going to be on my a high floor player, but he's going to be on my list today. The top 7 players I do not want. I pick 11. So number 7 is Jason Oweh. So basically the reason why I don't want him is Leonard Williams is under a 3-year contract. We don't have him like for long term. We think we can keep on extending him, doing contracts like that. But realistically, Leonard Williams is here for the short term. He's not here for the long term. So I'm expecting all of a sudden Jason Oweh, we're going to develop him over a couple of years. Now, he does offer a lot. His speed, better than Micah Parsons. But he doesn't really come with the plan. He doesn't really know how to use his leverage, pass rush moves, defending the run. He's just very raw. You look at him, it's just like, this guy has some potential here. He has some wow plays. But are we going to be willing to risk of that for the long term? I don't know. Man, I would be Jason Oweh. He's a late first round a flyer talent for a team that's just got to the playoffs. Okay, let's see what we can do. Next is Caleb Farley. This is ranked from 7 down. Caleb Farley, it's just the injuries scare me, but he has that speed where I wouldn't really mind it, where it's just CJ Henderson. He had 4.39, Caleb Farley 4.39, I think, as well. Everyone's running 4.39s. It's It's like the new sick. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But Caleb Farley, he has very raw as far as being able to cover. He's often behind receivers a lot and not running, kind of like catching up, and his athleticism kind of works. He's really good man on man, needs to work a little bit understanding zones. But Caleb Farley, like the back is just really concerning for me. And the fact if we draft him, it's just like cornerback. I mean, it depends who's on the board. Like Caleb Farley drops, and then Jalen Waddle's still on the board. Like, come on, man. And there's also like ranked as far as like how likely I think we are to pick them. I'm not even sure if there's the rankings at all, but the top guys I'm really more pissed off at. Next is Ojulari. Now he had a 20% pressure rate. He wasn't really used a lot as far as pass rushing. I watched his film though. It's nothing like wow. He had some plays where it's like, yeah, that was pretty good, like a 2-hand swipe. But I'm thinking that's going to be destroyed in the NFL a little bit. I'm not going to be overly like pissed, but I'm like, we could just trade back for him. He offers us a lot of the same things that Lorenzo Carter does, but I'm like, is Lorenzo Carter going to be healthy? He's a trade back candidate for me. But at 11, I mean, another Georgia guy. We have to draft one Georgia guy every single draft, right? Let's get Ben Cleveland. Let's get that linebacker that everyone's talking about. Azeez Ojulari, I'm like, this is a second, third round prospect where you're like, oh yeah, if you can get him in the second, third round, you're like, yeah, you feel pretty confident. But at 11, you're like, I don't know. Joseph Osai only had 10% pressure rate, so he is better at that. He has had better coaching, I believe, which is why he's higher on this list. But his athleticism, I think, is just it caps his ceiling. Next is Rashad Bateman. I wouldn't do this because he's a wide receiver too. Let's say Kenny Golladay goes down. We have a bunch of wide receiver twos, no wide receiver one, no elite guy. And we've seen with the Atlanta Falcons, with teams that have gone to the Super Bowl recently, wide receiver ones are kind of important. As much as like we didn't say that before, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had a wide receiver one. And, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, two guys that could be wide receiver ones. Then you had Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, true wide receiver one. Then who else? Oh, those are two teams that made the playoffs this year. San Francisco, not really as much. But we've seen recently teams like the Green Bay Packers, like the Buffalo Bills, they have those true guys. Rashad Bateman, he just drops the ball a little bit too much. He doesn't offer any like elite things after the catch. He's a good route runner. But I'm like, I don't see him winning on the outside. I made videos about him. He's not going to get me excited. His speed doesn't, and his like agility doesn't show up on tape that much. So that's why I'm worried about that. Next, Christian Darrisaw, which is a prospect a lot of people have mocked to us. The Giants need offensive linemen. Okay, so we're going to ditch Matt Parrott and Andrew Thomas. And, the guys we drafted 2 out of the top 3 in the draft last year, and all of a sudden we get Christian Darrisaw. Okay, he's good, but he just doesn't offer, like, he's like Mekhi Becton in a way, like, he kind of a little bit stiff hips. He's not that much of an athlete, but he wins. He's like Samuel Cosme a little bit too. Like, he wins, I guess. But I'm like, I'm not going to be, like, Christian, like, what are we going to do with Matt Parrott? I mean, and especially who's going to be on the board. That honestly just makes absolutely no sense to me. That's why it's higher on my list. Next is, we have 2 cornerbacks here. We have J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain. Pretty much the same thing. Let's start with J.C. Horn because he's number 2 on my list. He's a little bit grabby. We've dealt with grabby receivers before, and I just don't want CB. It's just a stigma at CB in the first round. He's has a lot of you see the athleticism. Like he jumped high, he ran fast. But he's probably not going to be on the board. It's kind of weird saying that now because he was obviously going to be on the board like a couple weeks ago. It just happens with Caleb Farley, whatever it is. I don't think he's going to be on the board. Neither Patrick Surtain. Horn, I just worry about too much. You're going to have to coach him. It's going to take a while for him to get rid of those habits. And we want a guy who's not going to be an issue. A guy that's not going to cause that penalty on third down in the fourth quarter. And finally, Patrick Surtain. I really wouldn't like this pick because he's a pure zone corner. If we have to rely on him man on man on third down, I don't think he can do it. I think there's going to be guys that can be out athletic him and beat him. The guys are going to be able to beat him one-on-one. Yeah, that's the main reason why. And getting a corner, again, not that sexy. But yeah, that's my list. Obviously, there are other people, like if we drafted, Joe Tryon at number 11. Obviously, I wouldn't like that. But these are kind of realistic options that I could see us drafting. Non-Derek Brown that would piss me off. Trey Lance. Let's draft Trey Lance. I saw a mock draft a couple of weeks ago that I was drafting Trey Lance. It's like, What are you talking about, man? Whatever. But hope you guys didn't. It's funny watching people do mock drafts about the Giants. Like, they have no idea what our system is. I don't know it 100%. Like, you could quiz me on, like, the percentage of our 3-down linemen. I wouldn't know. But I don't think anybody does. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.